All right, today I'm making, well, I'm gonna make a bunch of things today, but some of this is Brussels sprouts, and I'm gonna make these on the grill, obviously. What I did was, I just went and bought a bunch of Brussels sprouts, rinsed them off, took bad leaves off of them, cut them in half, so they've been cleaned and kind of pruned down a little bit, so to speak. Put just a tiny bit of coarse sea salt. I would just throw a pinch over them and just kind of let them sit. For this, then what I did was I got my coals ready, and then I put I want to have a lower smoke point, so what I did was I threw some what is this, corn oil? It doesn't matter the brand name, I'm sure you saw it, but I threw some corn oil into the frying pan along with some butter. I don't really have any specific measurements for you, I'm sorry. I never really do any measurements of stuff. I just had enough to coat the bottom of my frying pan. And I'm gonna, they're gonna be on here until the sprouts have browned. Like right now, what I could do is I could flip them. Obviously, I don't have any browning going on just yet. But I want to get it so that the face here, that these are brown and they're kind of soft. Right now, they're still pretty tough. This has only been on here for 2 or 3 minutes. So we're going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is, just for a tiny bit of flavor, what we did this morning was I made some bacon. I didn't make it on the grill. I guess I could have, but I made some bacon. And I saved a little bit of the bacon grease for it. And what I'll do is I'll just take maybe a teaspoon, a little bit in a spoon, and I'll just spread it kind of over the Brussels sprouts. And then at the very end, just to soften everything up, I'm going to throw in some bacon that I saved. Very difficult to save bacon, believe me, because you just want to eat it, and so does everybody else. But there's some bacon there. I'm going to let this go for a couple minutes. I'm going to keep kind of moving these around every little bit. I don't want them to start to stick to the bottom of my pan. And once you can see here, the butter is kind of starting to golden up, and I don't want to have it so that my pan becomes dry. So every once in a while, I'm going to add just a little bit of either maybe a tiny bit of corn oil or some butter into here, perhaps a little bit of the bacon grease. We can even do some of that right now. So we'll take some of this and start chucking it in there. See, now we're starting to get browned off a little bit. See here where that nice golden goodness is? That's from the butter. So we're going to kind of keep that going. Tiny bit of I keep wanting to say rock salt, I'm sorry. It's just coarse salt. Kosher salt in this case. Not a whole lot of it, because then you're just going to give yourself heart attack just about. So here we go. I'll show this to you again in a couple minutes. You might even want to lid it up. This is mostly just coal in here, but I do have some hardwood lump charcoal in there. A little bit of smoke flavoring. So we're good to go. Now that I've got the lid on here, my handle's going to start to heat up a little bit more, so I might want to use a towel so I don't burn myself. Alright, so I've been maybe 5 minutes since I last had the camera rolling here, and this is probably, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 minutes at the most overall for as far as I'm cooking. Your temperatures might be, your cooking time might be different because of temperatures that you're cooking on. You can do this on a stovetop, doesn't matter. Here, I'm going to start looking at some of these, flipping them over a little bit. I'm just about ready here. These are really starting to brown up kind of nice. Some of them you can see are farther ahead than other ones. They might just be hitting hotter spots of the pan. Maybe a little smaller. Maybe the Brussels sprout, the head of the Brussels sprout might be a little bit looser in some cases. I don't know. But coming along well. What I want to do is just check them for brownness, check them for tenderness. These are still a little stiff, so think I'll give them just a couple more minutes here. This one here, that's probably done. Yeah, that's about done. You can see how it's tender. I can't really, you know, the camera isn't doing this justice, but see how it's getting tender like that? You can see it sort of coming apart. That's telling me it's about done. You might want to test. If you haven't done this before, you'll want to kind of play around a little bit and, you know, maybe eat one after they get to about this stage here. Taste it, and if you want to go farther, you can go farther. If you think you went too far, obviously next pan works. Don't do quite as long of a temperature. Sometimes lidding it up is good for me in this case because it's cold out. I mean, I've got snow everywhere. It's about 12 degrees out here right now. So, keep it going. The next thing I'm going to do is, because these are just about done, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them out. I'll put them into this little metal dish here after these are out of here. Put some foil over it, and then I'll just throw it into the back corner of my grill into a cool zone until the new ones are done. Then I'll take everything upstairs and then I'll get ready for the next part of my meal. I'm actually going to make pork chops. The bacon is probably ready to go on now. So what I'm going to do is just take, I don't know, a little bit of bacon, throw some of that into there. Maybe eat a piece on accident. Got my wooden spatula. Sort of stir this up. That's looking, these are done. So I'm going to flip these into a dish, put them onto the cooling zone, start my next round. With my next round, that's going to necessitate that I use a little bit more corn oil, some butter. Kind of keep this going. Dumped them out. I put them into a different container. This is hard to do with just one hand while I'm opening up stuff. Let's see. Corn oil into here. I'm going to coat the bottom of my pan. The butter is not here so much for a lubricant as it is for helping to brown everything off. I'm going to let the butter melt, and then I'll start to throw in my next round of sprouts. I'll do that now. It's all over here. This is a recipe that was shared with me. I'm lucky enough to have a chef in the family. His name is Andrew Ruiz. He is from the Bartolotta Restaurant Group in and around Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And he shared this with us. So he shared this with me on Thanksgiving. So I've thrown in the next, a little bit of oil and everything, butter. Give it a tiny splash of salt. Nothing really major. So we're good. I'm going to repeat that same process. About the only problems I'm having right now with temperature out here. I mean, it's winter, so you're going to have some challenges you don't have in the middle of summer. My liquids are kind of freezing up fast. This happens to be that bacon grease. I don't want a whole bunch of it, so I'm pretty much tapped into that as much as I'm going to be at this point. But if you're wanting to keep this outside and you're dealing with weather that I am right now, then be prepared for that. You can just take and just set it over here into the cooling zone of your grill, obviously, and that'll keep it in much more a liquid condition instead of being so gelatinized. Good thing is it keeps other stuff cold.